Hello, friends, and welcome to the Cinemondo podcast with Kathy and Mark and me.
Hi.
Talking about trailers.
Yeah, and we come from beautiful Hollywood, California, Los Angeles County. We love it here. We've lived here for many moons. And when there's shows about Hollywood and specifically the business of Hollywood, showbiz,
Yes,
that's always compelling. And this one, here's a brand new one coming to Apple TV Plus, end of March, just in time for my birthday. Created by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg, who have done lots of movies and TV shows in the past, called The Studio. And it's a 10-episode series, and it's got a great cast along with Rogen. There's Catherine O'Hara, Ike Barinholtz, Catherine Hahn. I mean,
wow,
so many.
And I think it's about, the business of showbiz, which is so, enticing. And it's why we're here. And we're all in it to some degree. Kathy and Burke more so than myself. But it's a wonderful place to be.
Film. Hello.
I know. I'm trying to keep
film. Yes.
But so I love it because it's the gatekeepers are so tough. How do you get into this world? And if you do, how does it affect you? How does it affect your creativity? How does it affect you financially? And can it be funny? Which I think it can be.
And philosophically, what are the different levels of, it's like some people think about the entertainment industry and when they describe it, it's sort of like Dante's Inferno kind of, the first circle of hell is working on low budget. And then the second circle is working on kid shows. And the third circle is working with animals. It's like there's all these different horror stories that you hear about the industry. And there's so many incredible movies that aren't just about the mechanics or the, like a procedural of how shows get made, but they go into the sort of philosophy of why people are attracted to this business or why people are attracted to the idea of celebrities or want to be celebrities. And what happens is it's like roulette, a million people will play and only one person wins. And sometimes that win isn't what they wanted. And it turns out to be more of a nightmare to win than it would have been to just stay a grip, but
which is still good.
Which
and
is
it's still in the industry. It's even outside of that. Like I always wanted to be part of movies somehow. It was my life. Like I lived for movies my whole life. And even though I didn't live in LA, it was always in my dreams. I was a classic LA, LA dreaming, it's like I always wanted to be there. I felt like I'm not good enough to be there. And when I finally moved here, I felt like I had moved home. I feel like this is where I belong. It's with the people I want to be with. People are steeped in movies and studios. And yes, it's about the meat grinder. But it's like, you still have that dream you can break in and make it your magical thing that you always thought it was. And it never is. But I think that's kind of what this is going to be about. Like, trying to be part of the movie biz, which is, a big dream for everyone. And they get in it and it's not quite what they thought.
Well, it is never quite what you thought, but a lot of times it turns out certain aspects of it are actually better than you thought. I mean, one thing that I love about working in this industry is the fact that I am every day surrounded by super creative people who are just as weird and just as into the magic show as I am. And sometimes we'll have a Zoom meeting, like a concept meeting or something for a show or a movie, and we're all just being goofy and talking about goofy stuff, like movies that we like and what would be cool. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if we could do this? And it's like, yeah, that's a cool idea. Let's do that. It's a childish industry, childlike industry.
I think also
pretend.
It's all that, but if you've ever been, and millions of people have been on the Universal backlot tram, the tram ride, that's when you go, oh my God, this is where all these movies were made. This is where TV shows and movies are still made. And when you can be on the backlot, actually being a part of that, making that movie or being involved or working there, you go, oh yeah, I'm here where millions of people come to the Hollywood, the dream, and I'm sort of living it because I am living it.
Yeah.
In whatever
When
way
we were
it
working,
is.
I used to work at Universal in the back lot and spent, years working there. And when the trams would go by, everybody would go, "Oh, tram's coming," and you wave at the tram, and people would take pictures of you. It's like, wow, real film crew.
I know. When I worked at Universal, I also worked at Universal a lot, and I loved when I would just walk around. Like I just loved to just walk around the lot and see all the films being shot. And then when the trams would come by, I loved just waving, even though I was nobody, because everybody looked so happy and they'd wave back, like and I love that because there's this little spark of happiness. People like looking at everything. People are waving at them. Everyone seems so friendly. It was.
And
so
did they
fun.
yell at you? Did they say, "Hey, lady, are you anybody?"
Nope. Never did it. But anyway, so let's go ahead.
No, the last thing I'll say is I was on the Warner Studio tours with my mom, and we saw the cast for the Gilmore Girls come out of a studio. My mom watched that show. That was a big moment for her. So I was like, cool.
Can imagine. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
nice.
so good.
So let's take a look at this trailer for a show that we're obviously going to watch because it's near and dear to our hearts. The Studio.
See how real it is.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll be the judge of that.
Let's see. I think Seth Rogen might know a thing or two about Hollywood.
Oh, he might. Yeah,
He
but
might.
I don't know if he's been in the business as long as we have, but
Exactly.
All right, here we
All
go.
right.
Okay, everybody quiet on the set. Quiet.
So, how do you feel in all this?
I got into this because, I love movies. But now I have this fear that my job is to ruin them.
Oh my God. The job is a meat grinder.
Sing, 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 sing. Everybody start to sing.
At Continental, we don't make artsy films. We make movies. Movies!
Being the head of Continental is the only job I've ever wanted. It's just so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
You're talentless, spineless.
What is wrong with you?
No one likes you.
Get the fuck out of here.
I'm here to save your career. Help me help you win.
You'll make a great studio head.
Wow. That pretty much is accurate. Very accurate.
Yeah, a guy that loves films and cinema. Yes, but then there's the business of it. There's the hard, we can't make the movie I want to make because of whatever situations, agents, budgeting. You don't get the right actor or trouble, and then it turns into something else.
And also, it's like there's some people that aren't there because they love movies, and they're not there because they think movies are great. They're there because they want to make a buck, and they think they're not creative, but they're the top to tell creative people what to do. And so I feel like that's where he said, "I'm here to ruin movie." Like he goes, "I wanted to make movies, but now I'm here to ruin movies." I like that because as a studio head or a corporate hack inside the studios, you're not necessarily on the creative side when it comes to making movies. So I thought that was a very profound moment. And I love where he says, "I love movies. I wanted to be in the business." It's like, it's a meat grinder. Like basically as long as if you love movies, you have to really love them to be in this business, but also you have to acknowledge that this is a meat grinder and super competitive. And you just have to have that edge. I could see it being very easy to lose all faith if you're going to try and get in the biz without that armor. You just have to know it.
Yeah, you build up like you said, armor for sure, and you also build up a couple other things: a sense of humor about it, and a sense of reality about it. And there is that thing, like you said, this thing that we love, this art form that we love, and at its best, it's an art form. Of course, it is a form of human communication from the deepest part of a human. Mm-hmm. The writers that come up with these stories, this is like exposed humanity in some cases. In the best cases, it's like, this is what it means to be a human being. This film tells us what the other people in the world are experiencing. It's profound, in a lot of ways. But also there, like you said, there's a lot of people who are attracted to this business because they feel like this is an opportunity to make some money. Yeah. And they think about it. Actually, earlier in my career, I was trying very hard to be a writer, and I got hooked up with some people. I got kind of involved with some people who were producing and agenting and all this, managing and all this kind of stuff. And I went to meetings and I had scripts that went through processes, and I sold, I optioned and sold and whatever, but it never really worked out for me that way. But while I was there, I met some people that were like that. I started realizing you got to compartmentalize.
Yeah. These
are the cool people. These are the people who just want a paycheck. And you have to learn to recognize those people. And you can, they certainly need to be there because they're also the ones that sometimes write your paycheck. But that's the thing. One of the things that you learn is that there's people who love the art and also are concerned about making money. You know what I mean? I'm in the business, and I'm not in it for totally altruistic. I'll do everything for free. I mean, I want to get a paycheck too. And you do have an idea when you get into this business. It's like, maybe someday I'll make some money, of course, but also you go into it. If you're in for the right reasons, I call the right reasons. You're there because it's an art form that you appreciate and that you love.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to make one, trying to get one off the ground, and it's all about financing. You can have crew, you can have connections, you can have assets, meaning actors, like name actors. But unless you have your own money, but if you don't want to use your own money, it's all about that. And you'll talk to an agent, or actor, and say, once you have the money, once you have the funding, come to us, and we'll go. Same with distributors. Hey, once you get the movie made, we can distribute it. Or film production companies, hey, if you get seed money, if you get half of the budget, we'll come up with the other half. So there's all that sort of business part of it. That if you're not in the studio world, this is what this film is about, this series. But if you're a low budget sort of independent, it's all about where's the funding, where's your rich uncle with $1 million. So it's part of it, and it sort of cuts away from the art. It's like, oh my God, I just want to make. Then you might get, instead of getting $1 million, you get 100,000. So how do I make this script for 10% of the budget? It's not going to be what you wanted it to be. So anyway, it's just part of the reality.
And the people who invest want to be sure. The people who invest in your project want to be sure they're going to get a return on it. When you finish making this film, ultimately you need to sell it for more than you spent making it. You know,
right?
And the people.
It's ultimately about money. And so you can't just go I'm gonna make a movie. It's you need money. So unfortunately, that's the sad behind the scenes part no one wants to hear about. And they've made some great movies about this. They made The Player, which holds up and is amazing. Sure. They made Swimming with Sharks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some great behind the scenes, The Assistant. Oh. Is that what it was called? The Assistant?
It was called The Assistant.
Julia Garner,
right? Yeah.
That was also amazing. Like the being behind the scenes is, in a weird way, it's kind of like a wake up call, because everyone has an idea what they think it's going to be like. Right. And then it's mostly wheeling and dealing in money and business. And unfortunately, the creative is probably 10% of it. And it's a really important part, but it's still about money. So I'm in the marketing part, so I'm really connected to how do we sell this to the public to get this thing to make money. And it's like, how do we draw people to this project? That's sort of what I'm about. I would love to have made a movie, but I decided this was my strength, so I'm in this. But it's always with a mind toward how does this project make money? And unfortunately, that's where we're at. But I still, even though I know all this stuff about movies and this too, this trailer, what it showed us, I still am obsessed and love movies and streaming in whatever form it takes. I still
you can still love it, and then
it's why we're here.
It's why we do this podcast.
That's right.
But a job is a job. You go into an office and go, hey, this is the office of Disney or whatever, but it's like an office. There's people in accounting, there's people in the mailroom. It's just what it is.
Yeah, most of it's not on set. Most of it's just people sitting at their desks looking at computer screens all day. So that's why I love these movies, because they kind of give you a little peek about the struggles of the person who loves movies trying to get into the biz. I love the idea. He's like, I did this because I love movies. It's like, you'll be great, but it's a meat grinder. I guess I kind of like, okay.
Bryan Cranston, he wasn't in the credits, but he has a small role as that sort of over the top studio exec or whatever.
Scorsese.
Scorsese
in there. So who knows who's going to be in this, because it has a lot of big people at the top. Like you said, Ron Howard. So very excited to see this. This was just like a little intro. This doesn't come out till March. So
Right,
in the
it's a
meantime, we
teaser.
do have a bunch of teaser posters. Let's take a look at these because there's some really cool ones. This is very cool. The classic.
Looks like the Sting.
That's from the
Yes.
Sting. Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely a parody of the Sting. I love that. I love him with his different hands. Like, oh look, a movie reel, but the other ones are coffee and pouring creamer and a phone and papers. That is a big part of the job.
What was that?
So this is
movie?
set in the 70s, right? I mean, I guess with the film, right? It's not modern day, is it?
Well, he's got an iPhone.
Oh, he does. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I mean, maybe film. Maybe that's part of like maybe he wants it to be old school or something. Because they
Yeah.
don't really shoot on film as much. I mean, some do, I guess.
Metaphor.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
what
metaphor.
people. Yeah.
So yeah, you come into this too. See, that's the thing. We can't get rid of our film reels. It's so much an icon of movies, even though we don't really use it anymore. I think Quentin Tarantino might be the only one still using it. But yeah,
Christopher Nolan.
Oh yeah, Christopher Nolan. That's right. He does.
And
it.
I think Martin Scorsese. Yeah.
Yeah. a
They
couple
do
of them.
sometimes they'll strike a print. Like it isn't necessarily shot on film, but like Tarantino has his own theater, the Vista, where they show film.
Yeah.
So sometimes to show at that theater, studios will make a print for him because they want him to do.
The New Beverly too.
So I like this.
Yeah.
This is cool. And then we have this is a fun
Vertigo.
classic Vertigo. Yeah, Saul Bass.
Very Saul
inspired.
Bass. Yeah.
I like it again, film reel, because if you're not going to use a film reel, what else sells movies to you? Like you
Yeah.
can see why designers rely on the film reel so much.
These
Here we go.
things, everybody like the cliche of the
Yeah.
clapper,
This has been in all of them so far, the film reel.
right?
And I think it's interesting that they would use it because it isn't really how they do them anymore, but here we are because it's the cool part. It's like,
Well, it reads
here's
as
one with that.
film. Yeah.
I like him all alone in the theater. That's pretty cool.
He's got the look on his face like this is a,
And that
this is a
look-
turkey.
He's looking at a screening of something going, this sucks.
Right.
But I love the kind of retro feel, like it's an inset and you have all the type down in the bottom half. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I love the idea of doing
Right.
a big building block. That's
Yeah.
great. But it all says something in it. Like it
Yeah.
says something down there. He is saving lives and also the world, one film at a time.
Yeah.
Pretty funny. So
That
that's
is
very
cool.
cute. And each credit looks like it's a little bit in it for the credit.
Yeah.
That's really funny. So all of this, like, that's very interesting that this whole thing is like a copy line. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, meet Matt Remick. He's been waiting for his whole life to become a studio head ever since he came to the Continental as a kid and went on to the studio tour with his family. He's wanted this job. He believes that films can be great art and also make simple, serious money. Matt is all around he's all about green lighting series. Can't read it.
Serious,
By
iconic,
iconic
Serious
filmmakers.
films. Oh, by iconic. Go ahead. And not.
Not-
Just read it.
It's hard to read.
It's very
It's like
hard to read.
Our viewers
like
can
a
freeze it
credit
and
block.
read it.
It's the synopsis of
But
the
it's-
story. You're watching the log line and everything else.
Yeah, it's like the short synopsis, the nutshell thing.
Every day
Right.
presents a catastrophic new insane challenge to kill him or make him stronger. That's pretty funny. So yeah, this I really like this one. That's pretty funny. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So we have those are just teaser posters. This is probably a teaser kind of trailer. We're probably gonna see a lot more. It's relying a lot on like the whole the love of movies, the movie icons, and the iconography is really important, and the retro feel, because a lot of us, I mean, movies have been my whole life. Like we talked about the John Williams documentary. How I feel like that guy's been the soundtrack of my whole life. You know,
Yeah.
it's like he's been part of me. So I've always been just soaked in movies, whatever it is. So and through the years, as movies change, it was all film, and then we get into like digital, and all. It's still like what we live and breathe, and that's why we do a podcast about it because we cannot get enough of it.
Well, I hope they can do something new with this because we've seen so many things about
Mhm.
making movies. And like I was saying before, there is an element of realism when a film is made about filmmaking
Mhm.
because it's inherent, because the people who are making the film
Right.
about filmmaking actually know how to make films. So they know they're not going to make it cheesy. It's not like sometimes you'll see a movie about a rock band or something and they get it wrong because nobody making the film has ever been in a rock band.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
everybody making the film has made films. And
Yeah.
so they understand. And usually there's a sense of realism about films.
Yeah.
Right.
But there was and there's always the things that everybody points out, the multiple arms, with Seth Rogen with his multiple arms. That's the way everybody who works in film and television feels. Like, my God, I need 8 arms. I need a clone. I wish I had a couple of clones so I could get all my work done today.
Exactly.
And that idea of doing everything too, a lot of times people go to film school. I don't want to insult anybody, but worked with people who went to film school and they come to the set and they like, no, I don't do that. I only do this. It's like, nah, if you want to work on the film, you need to know how to do 100,000 different things. And you need to also know how to say, I don't know. If somebody asks you where somebody is or something, like if you don't know, say it. But the skills that you learn actually working on a film, you will learn more on day one than you will any other way, because it is like you have to have 8 arms. You have to be pouring coffee while you're reading a script, talking to somebody on the phone while you're also. There was a scene in a movie, I can't remember the movie, but it had Martin Short in it, and it was about making a movie, and Martin Short was the manager of some writer. And there's a scene where he's driving through Hollywood or through Beverly Hills, and he's driving with one hand and he's talking on the phone, and then he's lighting a cigarette, and he's sipping a cup of coffee, and he's like got another phone, and he's also he's like reading a script, and he's like driving. And then at one point a martini comes in, he's like sipping a martini. It's like that scene I thought really sums up the film business. It's people that are able to absolutely multitask in uncanny ways sometimes.
Exactly. And that should be part of film schools, that behind the scenes, how to do a pitch, how to raise money, how to hit up all your friends and family and run up your credit cards, which is very easy to do.
How to put out a fire, how to get a rattlesnake off the soundstage.
We are working on, we have Cinemondo Films. We're working on trying to get something off the ground. We'll be there soon. We're accepting, investors. So let us know.
Yeah, if you want an executive producer credit, just in the comments below. Be part of the Cinemondo team.
All right, thanks you guys.
Mark's birthday Amazon wish list will also be. We'll have a link to that in.
I want a metal detector and a whittling kit. That's it.
That's all you need, really. That's it. All right. So you guys, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. We'd love to hear from you guys. We'd love to hear about anyone's experiences in the filmmaking biz. How'd you do? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you get anything off the ground? We'd love to hear about it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.